Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome into this reading for the full moon in Taurus lunar eclipse. For those who are new, hello and welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. If you want to learn more about these readings and how to get the most out of them, you can check out the tutorial video I created to catch you up on all of the amazing things that we do in these readings and the best practices I recommend for getting the most out of the information that's coming through and understanding where this information is coming from. Essentially your spiritual support team, but we get more into that in the introduction video. For those who are not new, hello and welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. I appreciate you. I'm honored to show up and serve you in this way as we together navigate the astrological cycles and understand more about our own astrology and to use the spiritual tools of the cards to connect with our support team on the regular, to honor these cycles and to get the most out of them so that we can be the best versions of ourselves. So let's talk first about full moon energy. Full moon energy is the energy of the fullness of a cycle. It's a celebratory energy. So with full moons, we tend to focus on the things that we are celebrating under the theme of the sign that the moon is full in. Now, a full moon is always in the sign that's opposite wherever the sun is right now. So right now, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio, and the opposite of Scorpio in the astrological story is Taurus. Before we get more into the Taurus energies, this is not just a full moon. This is a full moon lunar eclipse. So the energy of this cycle is a little bit different than our typical full moon energies. Typically, a full moon energy vibration cycle information will last us 28 days until the next full moon that we have. However, eclipses are more powerful, more punctuated energies that have longer cycles. They can be from 6 months to a year. So this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus cycle is going to last us a year. And so it's going to take us from when the full moon happens on November 8th all the way to when the next full moon eclipse happens October 28th next year, 2023. So this is a year-long celebration that we are being invited into when it comes to the Taurus themes. Now, the Taurus energy is the second sign of our zodiac story. It's what's called a fixed sign. Fixed signs represent the fullness of a season. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Taurus happens during the season of spring. It represents the fullness of the spring energy and archetype. It has the element of the earth. So earth elements in our zodiac story represents the material world. It represents the physical realm. And so we have with the Taurus energy this beautiful vibration and focus on values, material possessions, the environment, and the earth. So these are the themes that the Taurus archetype and energy brings up and brings into the zodiac story and into our lives to explore on a deeper way. It's a contrasting energy to the Scorpio vibration, which is the season that we're in. The energies that are opposite each other are always going to be in the same, what's called modality. So Scorpio is also a fixed sign, but it represents the fullness of the season of fall. So we have the fullness of spring opposite the fullness of fall, creating this dichotomy and complementary yet opposing energies. Scorpio is the energy of water, whereas Taurus is the energy of earth. So Scorpio is more concerned about the emotional realm, is more concerned about diving deep into the fullness of our emotions, where Taurus energy is really fixed and wants to stay on the material plane in the earth and is concerned with the practical, physical realm. So as we are going to move into this cycle with this lunar eclipse, we are going to be celebrating with the full moon energy this Taurus vibration, so values, when it comes to our own values of who we are, what we value in a practical way in our lives, what we find supportive, and what helps to ground us in this experience of life. We're going to be celebrating that with the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. So even if you don't believe in angels, your spiritual support team, whoever they may be, is going to help bring guidance to you through the Angel Therapy deck. You are going to be watching only one reading for this lunar phase. There's a lot going on. If you haven't watched the new moon solar eclipse reading for the new moon in Scorpio, I recommend watching that because that's a whole nother cycle that we're in right now that has very, very powerful energies playing out in our lives, and it's going to help us navigate the things that are coming up in our sphere. But this reading, you are only going to watch for where the moon shows up in your chart. So you're going to look for this symbol right here. And this symbol right here represents the moon. And you're going to look for in your chart what astrological sign this symbol was in. If you don't know how to find that information, I did create a tutorial video to help guide you to that information and to that understanding. It is available and the link that's popping up right now, and you can learn all about the information of your chart, or at least how to understand and read the chart from this tutorial video. So you'll watch the video and the advice for your moon sign for this reading. So if you want to support me, there are many ways to do that. You can comment on this, like this, share this, dialogue with me about this, help me learn what is working for you and resonating for you and what isn't. And you can also share it with people who you think might benefit from this guidance and information and this fun game that we play with the astrological cycles, our own astrology, and the spiritual support tools of the cards. You can also give me a financial donation at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. And you can sign up for any of my services at devotedandvulnerable.com/services. I do offer chart readings there. I do meditations. You can contact me for custom guided meditation. I offer tapping services, and I have a chakra meditation service as well. Those are ways that you can support me if you feel called. It is not necessary, but some people want to know how they can reach out and support me, and those are the ways. Also, let me just invite you in to watch Molly MacLeod's really amazing breakdown of what is going on astrologically the moment this eclipse happens in 16 degrees 1 minute of Taurus at 6:02 in the morning Eastern time on November 8th. If you want to learn more about where the planets are and what that means for you on a personal level, you can go watch her video. I'll link it here, so that you can really learn more about the astrology of this particular moment. I watched the video. I thought it was super helpful and supportive, and so I'm going to guide you there if you want to study more and learn more about astrology and learn more about how this phase is going to impact you. So let's get started and find out what we are going to be celebrating when it comes to our values and our finances for this lunar eclipse cycle that is going to take us all the way into October of next year. So this reading is for you if the moon was in Sagittarius when you were born. If you are familiar with the moon in Sagittarius energy, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the moon in the astrological story represents our emotions, and the sign that it's in represents how our emotions express. So your emotions express themselves through the archetype of the Sagittarian energy. The Sagittarian archetype is the energy and the archetype of the archer. And I just learned recently that it's not only an archer aiming its bow and arrow, but it's aiming its bow and arrow at truth. Very, very powerful energy and archetype. I may be partial because I'm a Sagittarian sun. So the modality of the modality of Sagittarius is mutable, which means it's a changing energy. It happens during the change of a season. When one season is not quite over yet and the other season hasn't quite begun. So in the Northern Hemisphere, this happens when fall isn't quite over and winter hasn't quite begun yet. And it's this transition, this changing energy. Sagittarian is the energy of the fire vibration, which represents the spiritual realm. So it's changing spirituality. That's the theme of the Sagittarius. And again, this is how your emotions express themselves through this changing spirituality, this adaptable fire. It's an independent, dreaming, likable, optimistic, and intellectual energy. So this is how your emotions express themselves. And keep in mind that the planet placement and the sign that it's in is only a breadcrumb of the astrological story that is you. There are different things that can modify and challenge or improve this alignment for you. So it may or may not feel fully resonant, but this is something that we get to play with and we get to learn as we understand these archetypes and these energies, how they express themselves uniquely through us. Okay, let's get into your reading. If you haven't already, taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you at this time, I invite you to do that. If you need more time, please pause the video. And here's your card: workshops and seminars. Attending and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path and purpose. Be open to teaching and learning. So for the next year, in order to celebrate what you value in life and to feel grounded in the physical world, this is your guidance. Go teach and go learn. This is such a simple card. I really love it. So the Sagittarian energy loves to learn, loves to learn. It represents higher education. So it's definitely learning in the higher education realms. And remember, because this is coming through the lens of the Taurus eclipse, we're talking about our values. So learning about things that you find valuable. It's not just learning about something that's going to help get more money in your life. It's learning about something that's going to help you feel more grounded in life and celebrate the things that you find very valuable, which the Sagittarian energy finds learning valuable, finds learning about one's self very, very valuable. So if you've been thinking about teaching something, this is extra confirmation that yes, it's time. If you've been thinking about taking a class, this is confirmation. Yes, it's time. And this, again, is a year-long cycle. So this is your guidance for a year to be a student, to be a teacher, to definitely dive into the lens of being grounded and into the lens of what you value. Because Sagittarius is a very spiritual sign, it might be spiritual learning that you're diving into. This card actually talks about your spiritual path being about teaching and learning. So the theme of the spiritual path may be of a spiritual nature for you as well. You might want to team up with the moon in Geminis because they got this card too. If you want to find a friend, if you know your friend's astrologies and you know who's a moon in Gemini in your life. I'm a moon in Gemini, by the way. You might want to team up with these energies because they got the same card. So you might be teaching them and learning from them, or you might be just attending classes with them if you want to go with a friend. But definitely any workshop or seminar that feels really resonant for you that comes up over the next year, definitely invest your time, invest your resources, invest your focus on these places because your support team is calling you into this as part of your spiritual path. I don't have much more for you, my beautiful moon in Sagittarians. I wish I did. It feels like your guidance is always so short and sweet. Go ahead and watch the readings for the solar eclipse in Scorpio if you didn't watch those. I feel like that's also pretty relevant and important for you guys. I don't know if you got the same card. This card did come up in those readings, but I don't know if it was for you. But definitely check those out for extra support and guidance since this one was so short and sweet. Okay? Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if this is resonating for you. Let me know what you're studying. Let me know what this is lighting up for you. Let me know what it is that you're teaching. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.